And good Sunday morning. It is October the 20th. Oh my gosh. I cannot believe we're already, what's that, 3/4 of the way through, 2/3 of the way through the month already. Didn't take very long. As you get older, time goes by faster. I don't know if I need light on this or not. I'm trying to get the lighting right. I'm trying to get the sound right. So yeah, it's trying to do things on the cheap. I only have one or two people who generally join a stream, and then a couple people will poke in during the week to take a look at what I did. Not a lot of minutes on it. So yeah, it's trying not to make it a lot of work and just keep with the regular stuff that I'll do on a Sunday. But anyway, let's get started. Last week I had started on compound cutting, and I had did a test piece. Let's get that up. There we go. Yeah. So this is the piece that I finished based on Venice. This is from St. Mark's. So there you go. That was the test piece. Now, depending on how I do the actual chess set in terms of the light colors, that may actually be a real piece. But then again, it was my actual first chess piece, so I think I may just leave that for my shelf of first. So here, yesterday, let's slide up a little bit here. This is the Queen, and this is the column from St. Mark's, and it came out really well. Had to make some design adjustments. Of course, only one big wing together and no tail, though I might be able to add a tail later on. But overall, this piece came out really, really well, and this is pretty much. This is unsanded, so I really love the way Flying Dutchman finished. Just a little rough here where, you were going in two different directions, but otherwise, in terms of sanding, it's not going to be that difficult. So let's talk about sanding, and again, that was the Queen. Debating about how I'm going to do it. I have so many different ways to sand. Of course, I have, the sanding pens or pencils like this of different grit, but most likely I think I am going to do a combination of the old-fashioned flat piece, get it on my finger and start sanding away versus using sanding twigs. So this way I can get into some of these small spaces like this. So it'll be good for touch-up. I think, these outside, I'll use the regular, but, I can do this, turn it 90 degrees, and, just finish it real nice. This sits relatively flat. Does need to have a little belt sand on the bottom to take that off, because you're cutting when you're in the jig, you're cutting this way and then you're cutting this way. So if you're off a little bit, you're going to have a slight rock. That's not too bad actually that way. That's a little bit more. So I'm going to figure out best way to sand this, or I may wind up putting some felt on the bottom. If there's a self-adhesive and the edges finish well, we'll see how that is. What else am I doing? Let's see. Well, as you know, a couple weekends ago, I finished the 125 toys. So what I'm trying to do now is, man, I'm tired. I'm really beat. So what I'm trying to do is stock up just a little bit. in case somebody contacts me and needs some free toys. So of course I'm doing some of my puppy, the boat, some of the standard ones. These will be out of walnut, and I'll finish those with the beeswax now. This is actually one that I'm working on for a friend of mine. He just became a first-time grandfather. So, I wanted to give him a rattle. So this is just, hasn't even been put on the router yet, but I just fit that. And let me get it near me. I love the sound that the bead makes. So I'll give him that and probably a car for his grandson. Hopefully I'll see him next week. Haven't seen him for a couple years, which, he's a good friend, lives nearby. All right, so we got that. Let's see. Okay. So here is the jig I showed you last week. And let's see, the only modification I made was going from a 3.5 inch to a 4-inch bolt. So that makes putting it into the jig a little bit easier. I have a little bit more flexibility of how tight or how loose it is. So I think that works a little bit better. And of course, I've already discussed the removable pegs, and I'm still debating whether that is a good idea or not. Look, they're removable, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, so that takes us to today, and this is the king. This will be walnut again. Let's get that, where the light, there we go, okay. Man, I'm trying to look on a screen and I can barely see the outline. It's actually magenta, and it looks almost like a blue or a black right now. And you can see I drilled the 4 internal holes on each side for the windows. Now, here's a problem that I have. These are really small. There we go. Holes here. They are also 1.5 inches in depth. I do not have a drill that I can put in the chuck and get it through all the way at the how small that is. So I think on my first piece, I am going to not do those. I think I'm still debating. In terms of design, I don't think it's that super critical, maybe? I don't know. So I'm going to see how it looks when it comes out and then decide from there whether I'll, once I get it thinner and it will go all the way through, I may revisit it, put it in the jig. I'm not sure, because I'll have the scrap that I'll be able to squeeze it in the jig, so I should be able to keep it at the 90 degrees and everything. I'll decide about that, or whether, this will just become a test piece. I should have gone with a little bit smaller hole here. I didn't, but it's within, except for that one, it's all within the lines, because when I drill, the stupid thing just drifted. It kind of irritates me. I don't think, yeah, maybe I did. I have a brad point. I probably should have used the brad points, and that would have kept them from drifting. So that's always something to consider. I would recommend, especially when you're having to do small, detailed parts like this, is use brad point. Let me show you here's a big brad point. All right, let me get one out here. All right, so here is a brad point. Let's get that close here. Too close. There we go. And let's get it where you can see. There it is. Now you can see the point. So basically, you have a small pilot that keeps you centered. Whereas, let me grab another one here. Whereas a regular drill, yeah, you have a little bit of a crown, but let me get it where you can see. Yeah, it has a little bit of crown, but that will still slide. So that point is really, really beneficial for the brad point, and they're not that much more expensive, if anything. So I think that covers everything that I wanted to cover. I think I showed you, I added some sandpaper. That way I don't have to grip it as hard. Now I'm just debating how I'm going to start this. All right. This is a bigger piece, it's 5 inches. I think when I go to my next version of the jig, come on. Now, why isn't that fitting? There we go. This is, my arthritis. God darn it. Okay. Yeah, I may have, I think I might have to loosen those up a little bit more. Whatever you guys do, don't get arthritis. It sucks. It's like all these little things, my hand's shaking, the pain. Yeah, that worked a little bit better. And even without I want to make sure that those are kind of, still trying to figure out best practices for this. There we go. All right. And I want to make sure that it's flush with the bottom. Yeah, I think that'll work. So now I've got to figure out my cuts. Hey, JJ, welcome aboard. Hey, glad you're here this week. As you can see, I'm working on another piece here. Okay, so anyway, I'm still debating about adding, where I have this already cut off here and just leaving a little bit, drilling 2 holes so I can start and finish. That looked pretty good, but then yesterday I did it like this and it worked out okay. So I think I'm going to try it this way. First, I'm going to do these 4. I'm going to flip it, do the other 4, and then I'll start working the perimeters on this. So let's switch over to the scroll saw. Hopefully that camera is still working. Yes. All right. I've been trying to adjust things a little bit better because I noticed last week the noise was up a little bit. The image was way overexposed. I'm trying to be consistent in how these things are going. Okay. And the other reason why I like the bigger holes is when you're going through 1.5 inches of wood, it just seems to work better. So in terms of noise, what I did, I put my vacuum outside. So hopefully you won't hear it quite as loud, but there's no baffles, of course, in the hose. So you'll hear the noise in the hose, but I've been trying to open up a couple other places. Right now I'm trying to turn my headphones on. Come on. Oh, there they are. All right. So I'm going to get my headphones going, noise canceling, get some music in it, all that stuff I usually do. So there we go. Okay. A little bit of Kansas, I guess. Oh. All right, so I'm going to turn on the air. Hopefully it is not going to be too super loud because I'm trying to balance as I lower the dBs so that I can eliminate some of the background noise and keep my voice there. So here we go. And I hear that whistle, but there we go. All right, let me do this. So I'm going to do a lot of nibbling today. I think you can see that pretty well. That's better than it was last week, that's for sure. So I'm still using a number 7 Flying Dutchman Ultra Reverse. All right, this one I got to go outside a little bit. That hole is definitely too big. That might have been a stupid move. I'm not sure. Oh, nope. Got that out. All right, this is going to be the tricky part. I think. So like I said, I'll be doing a lot of nibbling today. Yeah, see, these get in the way. Yeah, I felt that drop. So, whoever's online, what are you working on this week? I would like to know. So just post it in the comments. Actually, this is not too bad. Wait, I thought I did that already. Get this out of the way. So this week my eye acted up again. Pain in the butt, not pain in the eye too. All right, let me straighten up some of these lines, clean them up. Yeah, I think that is not too bad. Very light touch-ups. When I go to the next one, I'll show you what this looks like now. All right, there we go. So now you can see it. Not bad. Basically, it's a long rectangle, 2 indents, and a curved top. Yeah, those pigs are getting in the way. And I definitely need to do smaller pilots. I get stubborn sometimes. It's like, I want a big hole, damn it, I want a big hole. That didn't sound right. So one thing, I had an issue last week. I had cut like 5 toys, and on the 6th, it wasn't, it wasn't a 90-degree cut. I'm like, what the heck? So I checked it. I checked my blade to table, and it was at 90 degrees. But what I figured happened is I had just did that night piece, and there was just a tiny little piece of scrap underneath that I didn't catch clearing the deck. Let me pay attention here. So I'm nibbling. I think that works. Yeah, I need my puffer. It's funny how my drill holes all drifted the same way. The interesting thing about this compound cutting, these pieces so far are not difficult cuts. All right, I can do this. Shoot, can't see. As I was saying, they're not difficult cuts, but you do need to be precise. And being that you're going to be doing multiple pieces, for example, the pawns, you'll be making 16 . So you definitely need a light hand on these particular cuts. And this is where having a foot switch yeah, I like doing it this way better. There we go. Let's move that out of the way. Yeah, you can see that. Yeah, this is kind of the boring part of a live stream. You know, you don't see me moving that much, not talking that much because I've got to pay attention. So my oldest daughter, who's up at West Point with her husband, came out this week. And for a belated, well, you can either call it a belated birthday or an early birthday, she got me a free slice of cheesecake. She was saying it was my 60th, so it was, even though I'm 62. I said, well, it could really be my early 65th. We were joking about. But she took me to this restaurant nearby, the Aberdeen Barn, that had absolutely amazing steaks. I mean, this is not your chain steakhouses. I can't see. There we go. Yeah, come on. Come on. There we go. And, you know, I'm looking at the prices because I'm very budget conscious. And she saw my eyes. It's like, oh, crap. I don't want to do this to my daughter. First words out of her mouth, Daddy, the credit card I'm going to use, I'm going to receive a $150 credit because of the points. So don't worry. But her husband does, credit card arbitrage. So they get all kinds of benefits using credit cards. You know, she came out the week before, free flight, free luggage. But, you know, to maintain that takes a little work. But that's his basic hobby. There we go. There's the third one. There you go. Right there. Ah. I had estimated it will take, for the larger pieces, about an hour a piece. But that's okay. I'm not in a rush to get this done. Now, one of the things I've got to figure out is the board itself. I got to figure out how I'm going to do that. I don't have the tools. You know, like my table saw is a portable saber type. And it's not super accurate. I just use it to rip pieces to size. So either I'll find a friend who has one or something else. But right now my main concern is getting beautiful playing pieces. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do the curve. So I've always said this, as you can see, I go slow. It's kind of funny, I'm listening to 70s on 7, listen to Casey Kasem, American Top 40. Used to listen to it as a kid. Sorry, blocking your view a little bit. Ah, that's not what I wanted. Ah. It messed up my line. So I'm going to have to guesstimate. All right, I didn't do too bad. A little bit short. This is the one. Do this. The one disadvantage of a thick blade is it tends to tear your pattern in thin places. Yeah, just a little bit too short. Ah. Will most people notice? No. Will I? Oh yeah. Might as well be a pimple on the nose. All right, I think we're clean up that 90. That 90. All right. There you go. That's what the first side looks like. All right. Flippy time. I'll make sure they're pretty well cleaned out. My concern, I'm going through this way. Maybe not. Maybe they won't tear the others. I might be overthinking it right now. That was better. Rocking a little bit. All right, there we go. Yeah, I'm just feeling the back, making sure, where is it here? Making sure that this is totally flat. I want to make this as 90-ish as possible. Okay, so, well, that's just paper. So I was telling you earlier where my toy was coming undone. You can see that there can be little scraps, and if it's like this, a piece, let me get that in the light, wait a second. You get something like that underneath, it's just enough to knock your 90 off. That, for example, if you're making puzzles, I don't want to do that one first. You know, so you just got to be really careful, making sure your deck is clean. These are just all little things. You know what I need to do? I'm going to tighten this screw up just a little bit. This is what I like about thumb screws. I can go like that versus having either another nut or a wing nut. It just gives me much better control just using my fingers. But I do like my design and modifications. I'm going to go back to this way. Ooh, that's going off the line. Let me clean up this corner. Yeah, I went off the line so I can see a slight bobble right there. Well, you can't see it, my finger. There is a slight bobble on this side here. But again, this is what I notice. So if you're looking at the piece from arm's length, you really don't see it, but I am so anal. All right, that was rock. Okay, here we go. All right, there's a lot of scrap in there. So if you look, you can just see it. 3 pieces that I felt. And you're talking, look how small that piece is. And you learn to feel that underneath your piece. And this is, to me, this is the advantage of taking your time on doing things. But that's just me. Anal. But again, this is what made me successful in business, working with the military, and now with NATO. You know, attention to detail, especially when lives could be on the line. There, and it's not letting me slide back. And that glue is letting up. Gotta get that blade turned. All right. There's some scrap in there. There we go. Yeah, I think nibbling works best in trying to do a turn. And it's almost like using a spiral blade in a way, but I still think I can get a cleaner cut with my nibble. So I'm sure some people asking, why don't you just use a spiral blade? I want these things clean. I'm just trying to clean this up. There we go. All right there. Mm. Ah, bounced in. Ah. Something's underneath. And that is at an angle. Another bad piece or mediocre cut. I think I just gotta stick with nibbles. Ah, well, there's nobody online, so I'm not going to be talking. Sorry for the people who are joining after the broadcast. I can see on the back there the hole where it is not on that. All right. Make sure I'm not being stupid here. It is not one in the cut. It may be. This needs to be loosened up a little bit. Yeah, I can smell the wood burning. It's shaking too much. All right. I don't like the way it's seated. Yeah, that is crooked. I can feel that on this cut. At least that happened in the beginning. Yeah, something's not right. You know, I'm going to change the blade. And that could be the problem right there. Let's see. Yep, right there. I could probably do this. All right, let's see how a new blade does. Check my speed. If things are going to go wrong, wasn't the blade. See if this does it. No, wait a second. What the heck? Something's not right. All right, that's better. Maybe it's the grain. Much better. I don't know what the heck was going on. Well, it looks like nobody's on, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to call it a day behind the camera here. So, with that, may the Lord richly bless you. Make it a great day right here at Poppy's Workshop.